everyone. Welcome to another episode on Mind Your Soul. And today's episode is quite interesting for you guys. Something I've never interviewed anyone on. It's about joy, it's about presence, and it's about how Dave actually healed his own brain. So this is quite interesting. So today's guest is someone whose story will shift your understanding of healing, joy, and the human spirit. At just 13 years old, Dave was diagnosed with, and you have to correct me, Dave, if I say it wrong, inoperable grade 3 brainstem astrocytoma. Did I say it right?
Inoperable grade 3 brainstem
Thank you.
astrocytoma.
Thank you, because I'm not a native speaker, so I do make those pronouncing mistakes sometimes. Thank you.
You do very well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And after risky surgery, Dave fell into a coma for 2 weeks and woke up paralyzed, you guys, unable to speak, and he was told that he would never recover. But here he is with us today, and his story is it's like a whole journey through trauma, energy, healing, reconnecting with joy and love in his life. So that's why I had to have Dave on my podcast, obviously. So Dave, welcome. So honored to have you. Please introduce yourself, other than what I just said.
I'm Dave Hunt, author of Love is a Frequency, Seeing Life Through the Lens of Brain Damage. And I'm just trying to get that message out there that everything is possible. We'll get into that, I'm sure, with the interview. But if you believe in yourself, everything is possible.
Yes, that's what I always say. What you tell your brain, it believes it. So that's why you have to be wary of your words, what your thoughts are, because they do matter. Yes. And as someone who's been through this, Dave, like your journey is incredible. Like this happened when you were only 13. Can you maybe take us back to that time, to your coma? Like, what do you remember the most? And how did it shape your energy and your presence like back then? Now we have to go back in time.
Okay, so let me start at the beginning. So I was up at scout camp, which is for boys. We'd go to scout camp, so we'd learn little things like how to make things and stuff, and how to live in the wild. And we had an MRI scheduled. It was hard to schedule one, so it was scheduled for the middle of scout camp, and so I had to come home in the middle of scout camp to have the MRI. And then we're going to drive back to the scout camp, and I was going to finish the week there. When we got home from the MRI, we got a phone call, and it was the doctors, and they said, "Where's David?" And my mom said, "We're getting him in the car to drive him back up to scout camp." And the doctor said, "No, we need you to drive him back to the hospital right now because we have to do a surgery." So it was pretty immediate. Everything happened immediately once we found that. But interestingly, because this is 1991, back before a lot of the listeners probably remember, because it was a long time ago and I'm old now.
I'm from the 80s, Dave.
Yeah, I'm from 78, but...
Okay, I'm from 84, so yeah.
Oh, we're right there. So there was no cell phones in 1991, right?
No.
So if they had not caught us on the telephone, we would have been out the door and driving all the way back to scout camp before they could ever get a message to us.
Yes, true.
So it was fortunate that we got that message, and so they told my mom to lay me down in the back seat so that I would not have any risk of bumping my head, because I was very hydrocephalic, meaning I had a lot of fluid around my brain, and if I bumped my head, I could have died. You know, I'd been playing baseball the week before. I was doing the activities. I had no fear. I did notice a difference in myself, that I was not as athletic and I was not as coordinated, and I'd gained a lot of weight and I was lethargic. That was all from the brain tumor. But now we have a confirmation while that stuff is happening. So the night before the surgery, my parents went home, my mom and dad went home, and I prayed till late in the evening. I prayed. I don't talk about religious stuff because I don't really believe in religion, but I'm very spiritual. So I believe that there's a greater power. And I was praying to what I call God. Um, Sorry for all my friends that also believe in God. That's so
No,
that
no. But that's your perspective. That's completely
yeah,
fine.
God. So um, and God told me that everything would be okay. That's all I knew, is that everything would be okay. So when my mom came back in the morning before the surgery, I told her that I prayed and that God said everything would be okay. So after the surgery, I went into coma, and the coma was wild. Like, I went to another place. I saw what I call heaven. It was just a really peaceful
Wow.
place. I didn't get to stay. I don't want to
Mhm.
give any spoilers from the book. So this is all the first chapter of my book that I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
And then in
Yeah.
the final chapter of my book, I tell you that um, I'll get to that. So I was in the coma for 2 weeks, and my mom told me that is by my words that she knew that I was still there because the doctors and everybody said that I was gone. I heard this story recently when I heard my mom telling the story to my friend. The doctor came in, the neurosurgeon came in to her. They were friends, by the way. They
Okay.
stayed good friends. Um, the neurosurgeon came into her while I was in the coma, and he said, "We think we've killed him. We have to do an MRI in his brain and see if he's brain function." So my mom, um, my mom tells me that she knew I was still there because I told her about what I had prayed about. And so, apologies if my eyes red. That's a whole nother story that's in the book. Um, I'm also getting a little teary eyed. Sorry.
That's completely fine. Like,
So, so yeah, I was in the coma for 2 weeks, and we started to get more active. My body did. I was still gone. I was still gone but they could tell that I was there at least. I don't know what they thought it was. I don't know if
and
they're
they
like,
scanned your brain. You said they were going to.
yeah. So they knew I was still there, but I didn't start moving again until I was gone for a while. And then part of my coma, you'll read this in the book, part of my coma was a lighter coma, like you could hear the things around me. And it would make
Mm,
sense to those things by making up scenarios and dreams in my brain. One interesting thing and funny thing about my coma is my mom asked me, and I don't know if I was there in the light coma or if I did have an out of body experience where I would see things happening in the room with my mom. Uh,
wow.
and um, so part of the coma, my mom said to me, and this is written in the book, my mom said to me, "David, what do you want to watch on TV?" And I didn't really have a preference because I was not really there. And she said, "How about All My Children," which is a soap opera here in the United States that she used to watch when I was a kid. And I remember thinking to myself, no, because I hated that idea of watching All My Children. But she would start watching it every day with me. And I got addicted to it while I was in the coma. So when I woke up and she asked me what I wanted to watch and I was able to speak, I said, All My Children. So we started watching it together every day. And I got really enthralled, really excited about this fake storylines and plots and stuff. And maybe I was not keeping reality from fiction, so she had to wean me off of it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Do you know what a soap opera is?
No.
So it's a really not well. It's a really poorly done television show. I don't want to say it that way because I want them to like my book. I was trying to get some of the actors from that show
That's so funny.
to like my story because they're part of the story. Um, It's a less budgeted TV show, let's say it that way. And they have a
That's a
lot of
nice way to put it.
yeah. So and then I worked at the airline, so I learned a little diplomacy. That's a hard word.
Diplomacy.
Yeah.
So I
So
could say that. Yay.
yeah, I could not speak your language, so kudos to you. Um, so this has been just really blessed and fun, beautiful journey that I've been on. Another
Yeah, I
thing.
have more questions to ask you. Like, I have so many questions I want to ask
Another
you.
thing about the coma, though, is while he was in there, and I couldn't. This must have been the most brain damage parts. I was learning from God, or higher power. He was learning about energies. I was learning about chakras. I was learning about how to meditate. All of that while I was in a coma. So I woke up knowing that stuff naturally, and then I found out that those are done through different spiritual practices. What I was already doing.
That was actually my next question. So kind of took it out of me. So let's dive deeper into that healing practices, like you were saying. I would love to hear more. Like you said, you discovered it during coma, but how was it when you woke up, like connecting with those healing powers? Like what did it do to you physically and neurologically, like mentally? How did it help you?
So I'm part of these different brain damage groups, and I'm trying to get this message out there to people. But really, not many people knew who I am, so they're like, whatever he's saying, whatever. When I was at the most brain damage that I could be, I could not focus. This is part of the reason I couldn't speak. I could not focus on an image or a thought for more than, it was just like flashes of images going through my brain. That's what brain damage feels like.
Okay.
And so it was by learning to be present while I was in the coma that I could slow that down so I could make more of a movie reel and then more of a life, like living in the present. Living in the present is how you can overcome brain damage. So being present, and we can actually use that for any of us, even if we don't have brain damage. Being present, we can do so much.
Oh, wow. This is so powerful. That's what I always say to my clients. We have to start working on you being in the present, because many people are in their past or they are in the future. They're not truly present because of past trauma or whatever they've been through, you know.
And so I was kind of forced to learn to be present, but I'm really grateful for that gift. And what's really interesting with what you said is how I describe. There's a really great quote in my book about being present. It's by Brian Reeves, who I quoted. I'm not. If you were living in the past, can I?
I think I know it actually, but I don't know the exact words. Yeah, I know the quote.
Oh, this is interesting. So this is in the before chapter of my book. I talk about how I was a child athlete and I was really smart. So I feel like this brain damage is kind of leveling me with everybody else. It's fine though. I think it's beautiful.
I love how you put it. Like this was done to you, but you really, I always say, make the best out of your situation. Don't be a victim of it. And you definitely is the proof that you're like embracing it and working with it and empowering with it,
Yeah.
I like that. That is so inspiring, Dave. Like you're inspiring people with your book, and I will obviously drop the link to your book once, like under the podcast, so people can purchase it or connect with you. I always do that at the end. But your story is like so transformational, not just for people with brain damage, but also people, like you said, without having a brain damage, who's caught up in the past, are living with this and guilt and whatsoever. It's like we only have the now. You have to work on that.
Well, because everybody has their own issues, so it's just good for.
Of course, everybody has that.
It's good for overcoming trials. It's good for getting through stuff. Everybody has their own stuff. I just have maybe a severe case of stuff, and so I've got to learn a lot from it, and I was open to learning from it. I think how much of it was a choice or not. Oh, I was thrown into it completely. So, would I have chosen to do this life if I hadn't been thrown into it? No, because I was on the path. In my eyes, I was on the path to being a great superstar athlete and having all these riches and stuff. So, we all get to live the lives we have and live them beautifully. Here's the
Yes.
quote though by Brian
Okay.
Reeves. It's honesty without kindness is cruel, but kindness without this is a good quote. This is not the right quote. Honesty
Oh,
without kindness is cruel, but kindness without honesty is manipulation. Honesty with kindness is sublime by Brian Reeves. I love
he's
that
really
one.
good.
Do you know
Mm.
him? Have you heard of him?
Yes. Yes, I have. I have. And when you said about the past, I think I also know that quote, but I can't quote
Oh,
it.
that okay. I had remembered. I'm sorry about that. Apologies.
No
The quote
worries.
by that is by Lao Tzu. I have to look that up now. You've heard of Lao Tzu, obviously, right? He's yeah, I believe he's a Buddhist monk, philosopher,
I must have if I hear something.
and his quote. If here we go. Let's see. There we go. It says, "If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you're living in the present," by Lao
I
Tzu.
love that.
And I added on to that with my own thoughts. It
Yeah.
You got me anxious now, Farah.
That's not the intention of the podcast.
I gotta be present. Um Excuse me. So
No worries.
if you're living in the past isn't real and the future isn't real. There is only the present. So if
Hmm.
the past is gone, it's gone. And the future hasn't happened. There's only to be present, right? You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So we've
100%.
got to be present so that we're not splitting our emotions, we're not splitting our soul into several parts here. If you want to go out on a limb and hear crazy theories thoughts I have, is the way we calculate time is not even real. All that is real is to be present. And
Yeah.
that's all we have. So let's do that. And then if you're living in the past, you're only creating anxiety for yourself and those people around you. Sorry, if you're living in the past, you're only creating that depression and that for the people around you, yourself and those people. If you're living in the future, you're only creating the anxiety for yourself and those people around you. But if you're living in the present, you're creating a bliss or a nirvana for yourself and those people around you. So let's live in heaven every day. That's what I say.
Yes. So what is that practice you do every day to be more
Breathing,
present?
breathing and meditating, breathing and meditating. And that will help you learn to be present. That will help you to learn to face your fears. Because another thing is fear is made up. Fear isn't real. Um,
But our
because
brain thinks it's real. Like it detects it. It protects us.
okay, so what fear does is it creates adrenaline. A lot of things that create adrenaline, we can use that adrenaline for healing. But adrenaline is made for people that are like living in the safari, so that they can fight or flight, get away from a
So
lion or
we are
tiger.
actually animals. No.
What's that?
I made a bad joke. I said we are actually animals then, because the brain feeds off dopamine, okay, and it's often like if you have adrenaline, like you said, with the fear, then it actually gets you to do something, like
Yeah.
you take action. Yeah,
And so where I live in the USA, fear is not really real because everything is it hasn't happened and we're very safe over here. So
yeah, but the brain does not know what is safe or what is danger
that's what
sometimes.
you have to make sure you control your brain.
And that's how you do by doing present practices, like you just mentioned, meditating, breathing, grounding.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, and talking to yourself, like not talking constantly to yourself. I meant more like affirmations. If you're having intrusive thoughts, or like seek help, of course. Like to say to yourself that I am not my thoughts if something negative is happening, or you can
That,
reframe them.
this
Yeah.
is all more your realm because
You know,
you're
this is what I do daily.
I'm just the dude living over here, living life. That's all I am. Just the dude
No, but
living.
that's why you're on the podcast, because you survived this. You're a survivor of this, okay? And you change your life around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every day you do this and you try to be present, and you even written a book about it to inspire others that they can too, to give them hope when they feel very much depressed. Because many people, they go into depression because they lose hope, right?
I want to
Yeah,
give hope. I want to.
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
we all have a purpose, right? And this is
Mhm.
something new that I'm learning that I've written about. So we all have a purpose, and I learned my purpose is pretty great, trying to inspire and trying to help people get through their stuff. But I've recently been writing about, because we all have similar purposes in line with each other. Well, number one, we all have the same purpose to learn to be authentic. Number
Very true.
two, we all have the same purpose to learn to be present. These are very important. We all have this. Number three, we all have the same purpose to learn self-love. to
Oh
learn
yeah,
self
a big one.
to learn self-love, you really have to learn to be authentic and to be present, and those will help you to learn self-love.
Yeah, it's very true. And I actually teach this to my clients. And it might sound so basic. Oh, that's it. But it's actually much harder than you think it is. Like it takes years of practice to get there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, it does. So, Dave, before we end the podcast, like many people, like I said, they depressed or they struggle after a trauma. Okay. And like they need that hope, like you were just mentioning. So, what is that one inner belief that you had that might inspire others with a trauma or a damage to their brain? Like, what was that one thing you kept telling yourself, like that belief that you didn't negotiate on?
I was just talking to my friend about this just the other day, and she's had a TBI that I just recently learned about. So I've always believed in myself since, probably the day I was born. And also my mom, my wonderful mother instilled this strong belief in myself to love myself and believe in myself. And my mom was really stubborn. So that was a quality, good quality, being stubborn. Now, a lot of people psychologically, we can take that stubbornness in a negative way also.
It
But
depends how you're stubborn.
yeah, I was stubborn about never, when they told me that I was never going to walk again, I couldn't hear them in my inner psyche because um I knew that I was going to run again. I knew that I was going to play football again. And while I did play football again with my friends in the backyard, I never got to play with the pads or the helmet because they wouldn't let me try out because I was shunting my head. And they do make a point of that in the book. Um, that was a lot of my drive, was my focus on my dreams to become a football player again. So I overcame everything, got really fast and really strong again because I knew that I was going to play sports. But little did I know that I was going to be able to use that blessing for the rest of my life, even though I couldn't try out for football. So football is an American sport. Have you heard of football?
Of course, of course.
Well, you've heard of soccer football, but have you heard of
Yes.
American
No, also
football?
I know the American where you like, jump
Oh,
into each other, blah, and you do all this. Like we see
it's
all American TV here. Denmark loves the Americans. So.
it's a very dangerous sport, and I'm really
It
glad I didn't
is.
play
They
because
bump into
you,
each other
you can
and
actually
like,
get
yeah.
serious brain damage from playing football.
Oh my
And
God.
so I they call it CTE, critical trauma. I don't know what it stands for, but it's called CTE. It's for brain damage. Have you heard of CTE?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Um, I'm getting really spaced out here. I did
No, so
take.
that's really
I,
dangerous because it's very violent. I've seen it. I'm always thinking this looks so violent to me.
yeah, it is. It's probably, well, rugby's probably more violent from what I hear. And you're very familiar with rugby, I'm sure.
The rugby, we also have that here. Yeah.
Yeah. Similar sports, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me just tell you something that I did before the podcast to try to get up, because I had to get up very early for this. This is a free plug until they sponsor me, but I took Alpha Brain. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
It's a neurotropic to try and keep me awake for this podcast. So I hope I'm
And is
doing
it
good.
working, Dave? You're very much awake to me.
Not in my brain, I'm not. I'm like, oh, let me go take a nap.
Maybe you should have a nap after the podcast.
I will. It's fine. Everything's beautiful and wonderful. And you have to make sure that, and you said that words are affirmations. Words are so powerful as far as the law of attraction, because you're going to get what you wish for if you're saying the words out loud or if you're thinking them. So I wished or I prayed to become healed, and I'm pretty well on the way. I've still got a lot. I've got to say this, though. I've still got a lot of limited beliefs. So my left side still has paralysis, and I still have quite a bit of brain damage.
Okay. So what are the doctors saying about that paralysis?
It's permanent. But they said that when I was laying in bed. So.
Oh, okay. And here you are. Yeah. Well functioning. Yeah. Well, the mind and the body are connected, and people always come to me and say they think it's like two different units, and they're not. So everything is actually controlled by the brain. And therefore, once you have a brain damage, it does affect your body. But you can, by keep trying and pushing and not listening and saying, I can, and I will try my best. You get, like you say, being stubborn, not giving up on yourself. You can actually go places.
I love your podcast because you're so inspiring to me.
Oh, thank you. Bless.
So my brain damage is called central nervous system. The damage of the central nervous system, which is the brainstem.
Yeah, so that kind of controls everything, actually. That's kind of like the controller, The brainstem is the controller in our brain, meaning if that's one is out, then it affects every part of the car.
Yeah. Yes, you got
that. For people who doesn't know, like I'm just saying it for people who doesn't know. So like to me, you are so inspiring because here you are and sharing your story, and you've written this amazing book to give hope to others, because people should never give up on themselves. We only have this life, you guys, and it's so important to make the best out of it. Get out of the victim mode and keep trying. You cannot give up on yourself. And Dave is a huge example of this. He has a damage in his brainstem, and as I just explained, that's controlling everything in his body. So that's incredible. Your journey is incredible, and I really hope that also the left side will be healed with time, because here you are and putting in the effort.
This is 34 years later, by the way.
Yeah, because you were 13 when it happened.
Yeah, and I'm old now.
No, you're not old. See, be wary with your words. I keep saying to myself, I grow younger each year when it's my birthday.
I love that. I gotta start doing that.
Yeah, I'm turning 41, you guys, on the 20th July. I'm turning 41, but I feel like 31 in my heart. Like, I'm young, I'm strong, and I'm still on my healing journey. Probably will be the rest of my life. But yeah, it's about what we tell ourselves, right?
It is.
Yeah. So our words matter, energy matter, and we should all try to be in the present moment as much as we can, because that is all we actually have.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Is all that there is energy and frequencies. There's nothing else.
Yes, exactly. But people don't always understand that once they haven't been through, like, I'm not saying you have to go through something that traumatic like you did, but I think when I talk to clients and stuff, if they haven't been through something really rough, they don't really understand it. Like, you have to experience certain things in your life in order to really understand the present.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like, not that I want things to happen to people, but I'm just saying, like, with my experience, I've coached over 100, 200 of people. What I see in common is that people who have been through trauma will really put in the effort to actually try to be present, because they learned the hard way what happened. then they couldn't be in the present moment. And yeah, but we shouldn't get there. Like we should all try to put in the effort to be more present.
And
Dave,
I do have a really
yes,
hard time being present because of the brain damage. So
of course.
I have to refocus myself a lot. And that's kind of just what life is, right?
Yeah, you have to put in the extra work for everything you do, like tenfold compared to someone with not a brain damage in the brain stem. So Dave, anything you want to share with our listeners before I let you go? Like, where can they find your amazing book? Is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon in
Amazing.
paperback and ebook. And then if you go to my Amazon link, you can also find the Audible version that you can download.
Okay.
And I'm really proud of the Audible version, even more than writing the book, because I lost my ability to speak at 13, but then 2 years ago, so the book was published in 2022.
Okay.
And it's 2025 now. So then after I published the book, about 2 years ago, so like a year after I published it, I had a stroke. So I lost my ability to speak again.
Oh my God.
And so everybody was saying that they wanted the book to be read in my voice, including me. I wanted to read it in my voice because I worked at the airlines for a while and I had a pretty good voice. I don't know if it's recovered enough that you can hear that right here, but the Audible turned out really well because I had a really good music studio producer that did it for me, Velvet Cash, sorry. And it was done at the Salt Mine Studio Oasis. But before I was even ready to do it, I reached out to a couple of people to read it for me. The only acceptable names that I could think of that had really good voices, better than mine, I think, were Matthew McConaughey and Ryan Gosling.
Oh, yeah, I love their voices.
They have great voices, but I didn't hear back from either one of them. So I just had to recover and do it myself. So I went to this music studio, the Salt Mine, and they were tremendous. They're in Mesa, Arizona, right next to me. And I'm really proud of the Audible, how it turned out.
Of course,
So
you should be. Like, you've just been fighting and fighting and fighting.
But I don't see it as fighting. I see it as existing and being present. I see it as thriving is how I see it.
I love that. I love how you changed it.
There's a difference between surviving and thriving. We only have two choices. And thriving is where you can do the most healing and get the most out of your experience in living. So that's what I try to do. I try to only thrive. But the Salt Mine made it so simple, so seamless. And so it was just a really beautiful experience. Again, live beautifully is what I would say to people. I try to love everyone. I try to love everyone. Some people make it hard, but that's fine because we're all different.
Some people are hard to love. I think that's where it is.
But I still love everyone. I can't be around certain people, but I love everyone.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's also about protecting your own energy. That is very important. Yeah. Part of self-love, right? So absolutely love that. You're so inspiring. Like you lost your voice 2 times and you recorded it with your own voice. I love that. Now I'm like so curious. I will drop the links for you guys if you want to purchase Dave's books. Very inspiring. If he can, I can, so can you. I believe in you. Dave believe in you. We believe in you. And yeah. Yes, what do you want to say?
Yes, I agree with you.
Yes, we agree. And that's why we do this. We want to spread the word out that you can heal and you can reconnect with yourself and find that purpose and thrive in life. Yes, I said it. Thrive in life.
There's no surviving. We are thriving.
Yes, I love that. Changing from surviving to thriving. I absolutely love that. I think I'll name it that. I want this title.
I like that. I love that. Okay. Yeah. I was surviving when I was in a coma, and then I learned how to overcome everything was by thriving.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. So, Dave, it's been an honor to have you on Mind Your Soul, and a very inspiring story for our listeners who struggle with mental health or sometimes lose hope, and you give them hope. You are hope. And yeah, I really appreciate you for coming on. Truly.
Thank you for having me, Farah. You're such a sweet person and you're really intelligent. I picked that up right away from meeting you. So I just really appreciate your presence and your inviting me on here, because you're somebody to be looked up to as well, I think.
Thank you. Appreciate it very, very much. It's to be around the like-minded people, you know.
Yeah.
So it's an honor. Thank you, Dave.
All
Thank
right.
you, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.